through you.
Okay.
And so when we think of like a knot or tension, it's in our physical, and it's going to be a block to the energy if we don't do something about it.
Yeah.
So I think
see, a word that you brought up was tamas. Tamas, not Tom, but tamas. What does that even mean?
T-A-S, tamas.
Tamas. What does it refer to? I know there's Raja, Tamas, Sattva.
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, right? These are the
Oha.
what?
Say it.
Well, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are the. Go ahead. What were you saying?
They're ojas, right?
No, ojas is like that, the superfine essence of kapha. It's like, I like to call ojas what modern day people refer to as mojo. It's like, I really feel like that word came from ojas. But sattva, rajas, tamas are the qualities of a substance from an energetic perspective. Does it create more centered connection with the divine? Rajas, is it energizing, that's going to like kind of be exciting but take you away from center? And then tamas is like this dull quality that you just kind of go inward, and you're not really having a lot of movement. And so we need all three in order to have balance, just like we need all three doshas. And then winter is a time where we can predispose ourselves to more tamas, not just from the elements, the weather outside being more kapha-like, tamasic in quality. And that's not to say kapha and tamas are equivalent, but just the sort of dullness and stillness that the winter brings. I think it invites us to just not really want to move. We're cold. We want to just like cuddle up on the couch and watch TV and eat heavy food. But those are the things that are going to promote even more tamas and or kapha within the body, that are going to keep us in that stuck, lack of creative flow state. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I feel you on that. And I mean, as far as like foods that you can eat to kind of break through that kind of stagnation, what would you incorporate in your diet for the winter?
Well, yeah. So I think if someone was feeling depressed and unmotivated, I would say go for the lighter foods. Like, even though in Ayurveda, they don't recommend really having salads in the winter, I think you have to look at the person and what's going on with them doshically, and not just these blankets like you only do this in summer or winter or whatever. So I would actually say like maybe fast for half the day if you can, or maybe do a full day of fasting, or a juice fast with green juice. Things that have a lot of phytonutrients and color that are going to bring prana into the body. So that's what I recommend from a dietary perspective. And then from, lifestyle, we already kind of talked about a little bit, but getting outside, being in the sun, if possible, if there is sun, and then just warming the body up, moving the body. Those would be sort of the key things I'd say for anyone who's dealing with a lot of those winter demons. But for Vata, you just want to be careful to not overdo the exercise.
I hear you. Yeah, I was going to say with the Vata, especially like the greens and like the little light salads.
Yeah.
I'm like, that might put those people a little off kilter, if they have, the kind of a lot of air element.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. So for people with more of the Vata type of imbalance emotionally, that's more of the anxiety, the fear, and more of a kind of sense of loneliness. For them, I would still recommend have these really nutrient dense foods, but just have them in a warm cooked soupy preparation. So instead of salad, you do like a green goddess type of soup. And still be paying attention to the nutrients in the food. Being whole and unprocessed. Doesn't have to be a raw salad though.
Okay, good. Yeah. yeah, just, I mean, whatever brings in that prana that allows things to move a little bit more, you know, it's more of like a kind of sattvic type of preparation.
Yeah, and I just think like we can't expect to feel alive if we're not doing things that bring us joy, activities that kind of make us feel alive, and eating foods that look alive or were recently alive, you know? A lot of the things in packages that have just all layers of heaviness, they're to me, they are tamasic. They're dead food, you know? There's really no life force in that. So it's just kind of widening that lens of, we don't just eat for hunger, we eat for nourishment, and we eat for prana. We eat to feel that just life force, you know?
Do you have a single like golden bullet that, I guess, quote unquote, you can use? Let's say if you're feeling a lot of inertia in this winter season, and you know, you feel these kind of feelings come up, these thoughts of, oh, you know, I've got this thing to do, but no, let me just, you know, go back and curl up in a ball, eat a donut, and like think about, you know, old romances and stuff like that. Things that can put a person on a downward spiral. What is that golden bullet that can really get that demon or whatever it is, just like, and dispel it immediately? If there was a golden bullet, or what's your golden bullet that you use? Like, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I would say I mean, I'm a little hardcore, like doing like an hour in the freaking sauna, like 200 degrees, Whoa. You know, cold, hot, just like really amping up that thermogenesis. That is a golden bullet for me. Like that will do it. Like really putting my body in that thermogenesis, like getting the heart rate to come up, and like my capillaries are just straight up dilating, you know, all my heat shock proteins just like activated. Like that's a golden bullet. Like boom, none of this like 20 minutes. And again, please consult a physician before attempting any of this, any practice. But for me, after years and years and years and years of spending, you know, a long time in hot boxes, I don't know, for me, that kind of does it for me, like pushing my body to the limit and like stretching it in that way, you know, like just pushing.
Like a pitta imbalance to me.
It sounds like a pitta imbalance. He's calling me out.
So yeah, what's mine? I mean, I think getting outside, just, you know, whether it's cold or hot, but just, I might be in my head cycling, spinning on something, and the moment I just even open the door to the outside, and I don't even have to go out, maybe I just poke my head out, it's different, you know. And I think we get so confined. That's part of this, these kapha emotions, is we feel like we're just kind of closing in on ourselves, and we think that our world is all that exists in this mental world. And the moment that we step outside and we recognize, oh wow, there's this whole other life happening out there, it's this instant expansion. So I think for me, it's getting outside, and then also I think I'm like, I feel like we all are our own best teacher in a lot of ways. And I just coach myself in journaling. If there's something really bothering me, I just kind of talk it out with myself in a dialogue format, and it's pretty effective. So those are my go-tos. Yeah. So, what else do you talk about?
What's that? I'm sure your arti practice helps a lot with bringing in that light into your consciousness as well.
You mean the Agni?
Oh, the Agni, yeah.
Yeah. It's been pretty amazing. So that's Agnihotri, and it's a fire offering at sunrise and sunset, and with a short mantra. And it's interesting you bring that up, because there have been people who were anxious and didn't have any tools, but just started doing this Agni practice. And part of it, I think, is ritualizing the day, like having these times where you step away from the world to just do this quick little offering and maybe meditate with the flames for a few minutes. But their anxiety goes away. Like maybe they've had lifelong anxiety on medication, then they're off meds, and not feeling any of that. And I think a big part of that is the anchoring and the connection to nature again, right? So we're connecting to sunrise, sunset, the diurnal rhythm of the day. And I really think that's the biggest thing that's missing from us, that leads to a lot of that fear, loneliness, and anxiety. Is it's the lack of connection, but it's not just connection with other people. It's connection to the outside world, to the environment, to Mother Earth, and to our greater sense of why we're here and purpose, you know. And like, if we can peel away those layers and really dig, then the anxiety finds a way to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and on a deeper, more subconscious level, I feel like just having the fire element in your psyche at those key moments in time, you know, sunrise, and ritualizing that with sunrise, sunset, just having that in your psyche, just having the memory of that throughout the rest of the day, like that in the psyche, I feel has that burning effect for maybe some thoughts that don't necessarily serve us, some little, you know, seeds, thoughts that can spiral into neuroses and actual pathology kind of later down the road, and just be a full-blown, you know, monster left untended, right?
Right. I mean, so that's the nature of fire. It's transformation, right? It takes anything that is an impurity and it turns it into what its true essence is. It's a return, I think. So that kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where this season is the absence of fire, right? And so when we can bring in fire through different ways, and that's another one to do it.
Okay. Give me your top 3 demon slayers.
Demon slayers. Okay. Out in nature, avoiding heavy thermosic foods. So, and overeating, and then movement, right? Just getting the body, the lymph flowing, stagnation, moving in and out through the body, in and around and out through the body. Yeah. Those are my top 3. What about you?
Yeah. Mine would be heat. Heat, as I mentioned before, like, you know, kind of getting into a sauna, and then maybe even doing a kind of the opposite of that, like with a cold immersion to stimulate inner thermogenesis, and then going back into the external. I think that just that shock is one good demon slayer. Second one would be something that we didn't talk too much about, would be the warming herbs, like the ginger, the coriander, the chili, the red chilies. Just something that just like really, that fire in the perineum, just like, you know, be careful if you're too pizza and you have a lot of passions and stuff like that.
Fire in the perineum.
But the stimulating herbs, I can get behind. I can get behind the black pepper, peppercorns, these things just nice and ground up, garam masala, just put it in that ghee and just really stir it up, and you know, take it in with like a nice warm calming meal, like a khichdi, or, you know, a nice like little dal or something like that, just something warm that you can integrate into the body, a nice like little stew or something like that with that.
I've seen pictures of your dal. I want to try it.
Warming herbs. It's good. It's good. I mean, it turns out different every single time, just because of the different things I have, but usually the same type of deal. Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
So I have a third one. Those 2. Third one would be feeling the fire in the body, making the demons squeal through. Just for me, I'll get into the you know, a sun salutation, and the third time, you know, my hamstrings are going, you know, in the morning, and I'll just like, just kind of, I will let out.
I think you scare your demons away with your own.
Yeah.
Your own noise.
Sometimes that's what it takes.